We're live.
We'll do it live. April the 26th.
I can't believe we're really doing that shit live.
Not too late to back out.
It's sold out.
Do refunds.
Ah, man, we're f***ed. All right, here we go. Echo, 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 echo. Get the blood pumping.
Go, 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 go.
Who loves caffeine? I do. Welcome back to New Heights, baby. Presented by Wave Sports and Entertainment and brought to you by our friends at Fireball, the pound for pound, undisputed best shot of the world. Cinnamon Delight. You got to love that shit, man. We're your hosts. I'm Travis Kelsey. This is my big brother, Jason Kelsey, out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio. New Heights comes to you every single Wednesday or whenever we can get an episode to you. And subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, and follow the show on all social media platforms at New Heights Show with one S, so you know exactly when we are coming out with new episodes. Jason, why don't you tell everybody what we got coming up?
Trey, we got a great episode. We're going to get into the NFL not banning the quarterback push. Some big free agency move. Of course, the Lamar Jackson situation. We're going to weigh in on that.
Of course.
And we're also going to, of course, launch the Howie Roseman interview.
Ooh, Howie.
Who I think we both would say was a much better interview than I think we anticipated. Not that we had a low bar of expectation, Howie. You just exceeded it. I mean, a really thoughtful interview, brings up a lot of great points, very open discussion. I think all Eagles fans are going to like getting to know Howie Roseman just a little bit better.
I'm with you. It was definitely eye-opening. I didn't expect him to have that much juice. He's all about it,
juicy.
Man.
Howie's a juicy guy.
Up, man. He's juiced up, dude.
Juicy. I mean, I call him Gusher sometimes. All righty. But first, as always, new news
coming at you.
We're back. Number one sports podcast in the world on Spotify and Apple. We touched it just for a second, so we're counting it. Thanks to you, the 92%ers, all of our supporters out there, for tuning in each and every week and each and every episode. You guys have made this show a success, and we can't thank you enough for letting Travis and I talk to you and share our wisdom, our stupidity, and other shenanigans with you each and every week.
Dumb and Dumber over here, man. Yeah. You guys are the best for listening to us.
Thank you for tuning in. Last week, we announced our first ever live show is coming to you guys April 26th in Kansas City, Missouri.
We're really doing this, man.
The Kansas City Music Hall. Yeah, tickets are sold out.
This is intense.
Yeah, we sold out within 3 minutes of the tickets going live. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know if there was going to be anybody that even bought tickets to go to this. We've never done a live show. We certainly don't know how it's going to go. We are honestly truly excited to do a live show and get that experience. I know for sure that Travis certainly plays better to a crowd every time he's in front of the microphone with a live audience. In the past, he has upped his game. So I'm looking forward to see what he brings.
Listen, we all know Jason Kelsey's known for his speeches, so it's going to be an entertaining day. And if you're still hoping for a chance to come and see sexy Batman over there and the Big Yeti live in Kansas City, please keep listening or watching the show every single week. We might just have a couple pairs of tickets to hand out. That's right. We're going to try and do some fun giveaways in the upcoming episodes. So make sure you stay tuned and keep watching. And hopefully we can get some tickets. We wish everybody could come. You know what I mean?
We do.
There's just no way.
One of the things I think Travis and I are most looking forward to about this live show is just interacting with the fans.
You know it, man.
Obviously, doing the show.
I want to see the 92%ers with my eyes.
I want to feel the energy.
I want to feel it.
I want to feel the 92% juice.
The juice, baby. The gushers.
All righty. Let's move to some fan mentions of the week.
Let's get it.
First posted by SJE 22890 on the New Heights subreddit, showing off his first New Heights hoodie on top of a mountain in Hawaii.
Ooh.
How about that?
That's quite
Mauna
a view.
Kea, I don't know, Heck Observatory. I'm just going to say that. The Keck Observatory. I know exactly where it's at. Good job, guys.
Looks great.
Can't leave out the best part about the tweet. Nature's thermostats at full mast, because apparently it's cold on the top of mountains.
Thermostats, man.
Yeah. But very cool. Never did I think a New Heights hoodie would be on top of a mountain. Yeah, way to go. Hope you guys had a great view up there too. I've heard it's absolutely gorgeous.
You know it, man.
Well, we also have a child trying to make print media. That's right. We have a child making something like a newspaper-ish thing, the New News newspaper. Trav, what do you think of this? I mean, it's, have we ever had a pizza versus pineapple debate?
Pizza versus pineapple? Well, I mean,
in the newspaper, there's this whole section. Does pineapple belong on pizza? To which the obvious answer is yes.
Of course.
I mean, anything belongs on pizza.
Yeah.
Anybody who's gatekeeping pizza toppings is, has a special place in hell for people that are banning pizza toppings. Let me tell you.
Dude, you know what's always got me a little uncomfortable though is
what's that?
Hamburger pizza. That
hamburger
makes me
pizza?
Uncomfortable.
Listen, there's pizza that I don't like.
People like to put mustard on pizza, and that just I don't see how it correlates. I don't see how it correlates, man.
There is pizza that I don't like. There are toppings that I don't like. But the whole beauty of pizza is that you put stuff on top of it. So there should be no limitations to what goes on top of pizza. Anybody putting limitations on top of pizza is limiting pizza, and I am not a fan of limiting pizza.
Big pizza guy.
Also, I don't know that this is a kid because there's a weird science reference in this lower right-hand corner, and I don't know any children today's age that would have any clue.
There's no
about
way.
The show Weird Science, right? Like that was.
I thought it was a movie. Yeah.
So I think this might be a man masquerading.
Weird Science.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
It's alive.
It's alive. Wait, no, that's Frankenstein.
They did it in the song, in the Weird Science song too.
Ooh,
don't they?
That's a good reference.
I think.
That's a good reference. You might got me on that one.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've heard it. All right, whatever. All right, we also got some responses to the NFL Players As segment. We got an anime fan art.
Dude, this is absolutely hysterical.
I was just shocked at how good it is.
Tats? You have any tattoos, Jason?
I don't have any tattoos. I've thought about getting a tattoo for my wedding ring, but I have not, as of right now, 0 tattoos.
0 tattoos?
What about you?
No. Mom told me, you just don't get tattoos because you're going to be 60 years old and you're going to look back and be like, why did I get this?
Oh, yeah. There's all those 60-year-olds that are really dreading.
In the back of my head, I'm like, I don't even know what I would get. I'm so indecisive. Like, what do I get? My number? 87? Like, what?
We talked a little bit. We thought about getting like the family crest. We thought about doing like a brotherly tattoo.
What does a Kelsey family crest even look like? Let's send it to the 92%ers. What does a New Heights Kelsey crest look like?
Well, mom's side of the family has a family crest. Dad's side does not, I don't think.
All right.
A crest is like, it's almost like a shield type thing.
No, I know exactly what a crest is. I've never seen mom's. That's crazy that you knew that.
Yep, Blaylocks have a crest. Kelsey's no crest.
Yeah, well, we don't even know how to really pronounce it, so.
Yeah, they're poor Irishmen.
We're Irish?
Who knows? But yeah, great artwork. Love the Snorlax.
Get back to the anime. That is pretty sweet. It's pretty good.
The style of that is very Pokemon-esque. Just very well done. Everyone on Twitter complained about how I pronounce Gyarados, which, guys, I don't know if you know this, but Gyarados is not an actual word. We should probably not take it that serious. It's got a GY, I think, unless we're going like Greek, Gyarados. Gyarados. Apparently it's pronounced Gyarados, which I've never seen a GY go gear. But, whatever. Yeah. And I guess we also owe an apology to Laramie Tunzel.
Yeah, that one's on us.
Good call out by Corey Willoughby, 8349 on YouTube. Commented in response to us calling Laramie Tunzel coughing, said, the man notoriously did not cough.
It's impressive.
I think that's...
Am I allowed to even say that?
I don't know, but it's a very fair call out. And Laramie, we would like to formally apologize for making that error. Before we keep going, we need to shout out one of our partners.
Who's that?
Fireball.
Ooh, Fireball takes any event to the next level, baby. Especially when you're celebrating a big game.
That's right. Fireball's iconic cinnamon flavor tastes fire and goes down easy, making it the ultimate crowd pleaser. That's why it's the number one shot in the country.
You know what I like about Fireball, Jason, is that you don't need a shot glass with those Fireball shooters. Makes it easy, baby. You just crack that thing open and shoot it back. You a big Fireball guy?
Huge. It's the number one shot in the country for a reason. Just crack it and enjoy it. You can enjoy Fireball wherever you purchase your fine spirits.
All right now. I would love to tee up the 12 bold topics of the NFL offseason, or at least the topics that we're going to touch base on and talk about here this week is the start of the annual NFL owners meeting.
Yeah, baby.
This week it's already happened.
It's going on. I think it's actually going on right now. It's still happening. Well, the first topic we're going to touch on with the NFL owners meeting is that there is no tush push on the docket, meaning you're still going to be able to push the quarterback. The quarterback sneaks. 92%ers, the 92% play is still going to be in effect next year.
Listen, I get it. It's like,
what do you think? As someone who doesn't do it, but you saw it happen.
Doesn't do it? We tried to do this. I think it was Cincinnati. I think it was the AFC Championship game. We tried to go for it on 3rd and short. And
did you guys try to do the push?
Yeah, I lined up as fullback, and
you pushed?
I think my dog Noah Gray did the tight end motion into like into under the center.
Yep.
And
false start.
No. I tried to push, and there wasn't going anywhere.
Really?
I felt like the most helpless human being ever. Like I couldn't help out at all. I'm like, it's just I'm trying, man, but there's no movement right here. We are pushing a freaking brick wall, man.
Yeah, this actually brings up part of the reason why I think it wasn't banned. You know, I was down at the combine, which at the combine, all these owners, the rule committees, they're meeting down there. Mm-hmm. And the word coming out of the combine was that it was pretty split. There are a lot of teams that didn't think it should be banned. There are a lot of teams that don't think it's as easy as it's being played up in the media to do. But we're going to find out, because I think every team is going to be trying to do this year. I think a lot of teams with the success that we had doing it last year are going to try and implement this in short yardage. So we'll see if it is as easy as everyone thinks. And this will probably come up again. I don't think this is going anywhere.
See if that 92% holds.
Yeah, we'll find out. I actually don't think it's, I really wasn't too worried about it. We used to do quarterback sneaks before you were allowed to push, or before we started pushing, and they were pretty darn effective. I don't know that this is something that, I just think it's a hard play to defend regardless. So either way, I'm certainly happy that we're able to run it again, because it was a huge play for us, and I think it'll be effective again. We'll see.
Yeah. No, it worked in the Super Bowl. I know that.
One rule that they also didn't put on the docket. Unfortunately, they're not listening to New Heights. Travis, your idea of allowing one hockey style fight a game,
it's in.
It's not being considered. Nope, it's not being considered. It's not being considered. So unfortunately, we're going to have to yell it from the mountaintop just a little bit louder.
This league blows, man. This league blows, dude.
NFL, no fun league. No fun league.
Can't fight. You can push, but you can't fight.
Yeah. Pushing allowed, punching no. Kicking, well, certain situations. You kick a ball, can't kick a person.
Can't kick a person. You cannot kick a person. Antonio Brown found that out.
God, that is such a good clip. Dude, he flying front kick.
He Luke Caned him, man.
Yeah. Dude, that is such a good reference. I forgot all about that highlight. That is a great highlight. If we can put one highlight on the show, I want it to be the Antonio Brown flying jump kick. I mean,
it's legendary, man.
Dude, it's great. You should be allowed to do that too.
No way.
Absolutely. Why not? If you can stiff arm, why can't you stiff kick?
Cleats,
What's
man.
the difference?
It's a weapon, man. Cleats.
No, everybody's wearing molds today. Those cleats ain't doing no damage. What? Why can you stiff arm, but you can't stiff cleat?
Listen, I don't have an answer for you.
They literally made a penalty up on the spot. They were like, unnecessary roughness? I've never seen that done, but it doesn't look like it should be legal.
Something tells me you can't do that. Let me talk it over with some other zebras here and see if we can come to an agreement.
Okay, tell me if I'm the jerk. I am in favor. What do you feel like when punters get run over or anything happens?
I'm not diving into this, man.
I just want to know what you feel like. Punters or kickers? Whenever they get truck sticked or blocked. What is the first thing?
I don't know why I enjoy it.
It's so joyous. There's like just such an exuberant
Tommy
amount
Harrison, I love you guys. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. You guys.
Yes. You got for just a second. You got what it's like every play. That's what you got. All right.
Dude,
and it's so.
You
good.
remember the Pro Bowl?
Which one?
Sean Taylor. There was like a fake punt.
Yes.
Oh
my gosh.
That was
it's great.
The Pro Bowl was the Pro Bowl, man.
I listen. I don't want guys to get hurt, but I am all. There's a clip on my phone, and I love John Dorenbos. Long snapper. Exactly. I mean, there's a clip on my phone of a New Orleans Saints D lineman just picking him up, and you just see his feet kicking. It's the closest thing as if they allowed just anybody to go out on the field and suit up for a snap.
Like he's sitting in a chair that's too high off the ground.
He's Fred Flintstone in the middle of the air. It's not good.
John D, man.
I mean, just complete. I mean, vicious maneuver by the dealer. I mean, he wasn't trying to block the kick at all.
No,
he was just like,
I'm regard for the football.
I'm just going to be a complete bully. I'm going to find the guy who can't defend himself, and I'm just going to completely demoralize him.
I'm going to go after the guy who's looking between his legs.
And you know what? I loved every second of it. Thank you. All righty. Let's get to the rule changes that are being considered.
I don't know why. I feel like it's the closest thing to like Pros versus Joes. You remember that show?
I think it's just the fact that you can't touch these guys. All they do all day is play video games and play golf on Wednesdays after practice. They are in the country club of country clubs playing in the NFL. In just like 1 second, I want them to feel what it's like actually like being a football player. And I love it. I'm not going to lie. I love those guys. I really do. But I am obviously very jealous of your physical protections. So when those protections come off.
Oh, man. It's so joyous. It's electric. It's an electric event.
It is. All right, here we go. Let's get to the rules that are being considered, the actual rules that the owners are thinking about.
Let's talk.
First rule, moving punt touchbacks from the 20-yard line up to the 25-yard line. I'm in favor of this. I think it would be, first of all, I'm in favor, like we just touched on specialists, but I'm in favor of anything that motivates a team for going for it more on fourth down or demotivates them from punting and trying to pin me inside the 5-yard line. I want them to stay as far away from putting me in a backed up situation as possible. So I like this rule. I don't know if it's going to change anything, but
I don't have a care in the world for this fucking rule.
I like starting with the ball at the 25-yard line as opposed to the 20. So I'm in. Okay, providing that on a free kick, also known as a kickoff or a safety kick, that is fair caught behind the recovering team's 25-yard line, the ball will be placed at the receiving team's 25-yard line. So, in other words, anybody receiving a kick after a score or a safety can fair catch it inside the 25-yard line, and they'll get the ball at the 25, not where the catch occurs.
What?
I don't like this rule. I don't like that rule at all. Not a fan.
That's whack.
Yeah, that's a bad rule. Hopefully that does not pass. Not a fan of it.
Who the fuck even brought? I don't get why anybody would want that rule.
The reason these rules are being considered is because they're trying to decentivize people returning kicks. Special teams are the highest rate of injury in the NFL. They're trying to make the game safer. And the easiest way to do that is to reduce the amount of kick returns and punt returns. So that's why all of these rules are being considered. They want more fair catches. They want more touchbacks. They want less returns, which sucks because
taking excitement out of the game, man. I don't like it. I hope to God that doesn't pass, man.
Devin Hester. I mean, all these guys that made careers, Josh Cribbs. I mean, it was such an exciting play to watch, and it's just getting harder and harder.
When you get an electric returner back there, like I remember when Tyreek was his first couple years when he was returning every punt.
Yeah,
the stadium chanted his name every time the other team's punt team went out there.
They said Tyreek,
and it's like, and you can just see him just kind of like staring down the punt, just walking, kind of pacing back and forth.
Oh my gosh!
It was like a action-packed movie. It was electric. I enjoyed every single punt return that he had, even if he just caught it a fair catch. Like the drama and the excitement leading up to that was electric.
Yeah, well, I think that only works when you have a guy like Tyreek Hill. And then you're like,
but that's what I'm saying. If you got a dude back there, it's like this is one of the most exciting plays of the game every single time the punt team comes out there.
I agree.
So it's like, why are we trying to take that away from the game?
Again, they're trying to make it safer. I don't know that I agree with it. But it is what it is.
Safety first, kids.
Here we go. Expanding the definition of a launch, taking the action with one or both feet. So obviously you're not allowed to launch into a ball carrier or receiver. You're not allowed to leave your feet to make a tackle.
This is so
apparently you weren't allowed to do it off of 2 feet, but you could do it off of 1. I don't really know what this means. All I know is that you can't launch. And
I feel like bring back launching.
So you're just automatic. You're just in favor of making the game as unsafe as it used to be.
Unsafe.
Yeah.
That's the excitement of football. What? We're not playing.
Yeah. I think that's not going to happen.
Soccer. You know what I mean? Like let's let the game be the game.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? I'm all for that. I'm all for guys, risking their livelihood. You know what I mean? I'm with it. I signed the dotted line knowing that I was at risk. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm with it, dude. I'm not in this thing to, think about safety. I didn't buckle up before I went over the middle to catch the ball. You know what I mean? Like I didn't buckle my seatbelt before
I mean, listen, I get what you're saying. Wear
your seatbelts, kids, but the football, you just at the end of the day, you got to let the game. No, you know what I mean. You have the best equipment you can, but at the end of the day, like that's the fun of the game. Is you know what I mean? You're out there.
Listen, I can't disagree with you. The game was very fun to watch when that was part of the game. But that being said, they are trying to make it safer. They're trying to limit concussions. They're trying to make it so that guys don't leave the game and have debilitating side effects. So I think what they're trying to do is good. Is it a little bit less exciting? Probably. But I think that it's still a pretty exciting game. And it's probably in the best that we don't allow people to take a running start, jump in the middle air, and lead with their head and knock people unconscious. I think that's probably a good thing they don't let that happen anymore.
It's just one of the most exciting things.
It was. Don't get me wrong. I mean, listen, Brian Dawkins, are you kidding me? Like it was amazing to watch.
It made me turn on my TV on every Sunday. So
I don't disagree. All right, the next rule change they're talking about making is they're going to consider making the tripping penalty a personal foul. Yeah, I don't agree with this. Yeah, I don't agree with it because, like, when I think of a personal foul is something aggressive. Tripping isn't really an aggressive move. It's not. I mean, tripping is a weenie move. It's a weenie.
A weenie foul.
Yeah, it's not a personal foul. It's a weenie foul. So if anything, we should be incorporating weenie fouls.
So weenie fouls are 20 yards?
I do think they should be worse than personal fouls. I think they should be worse. I think we need to have a whole other category of weenie fouls. What would be another weenie foul? Pulling somebody down by the hair. What's another weenie foul? Kicking somebody in the balls. I don't know if that's even a penalty.
Anything using your feet, the slide tackles.
Unless it's a flying jump kick.
Ooh.
That's not a weenie. That's an aggression.
No, that's an electric play.
Yeah. Shouldn't be a personal foul. That should be a personal celebration. Oh my God. Did you just see the physical feat that guy performed right there? I think he just killed that punter. He caved his chest in.
Antonio Brown, baby.
All right, here we go. Making the penalty for illegally handing the ball forward consistent with other illegal acts, such as illegally forward.
Where did this rule even come up in the past 5 years? Nobody, I've never seen anyone try and hand the ball forward.
I mean, well, clearly it happens behind the line of scrimmage, but it's allowed to happen behind the line of scrimmage. You can hand the ball forward in front of you, right? Or can you not do that even behind the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, 100%. Everybody runs jet sweeps out of fucking gun.
Yeah, right? You just hand it to them, or you can pop it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it should be illegal to hand the ball off in any direction. If you're handing the ball, you're handing the ball. That's my opinion. Like, I don't think you should be able to throw the ball forward. That's a pass. But a handoff, like if the ball doesn't leave your hand and you physically give it to somebody else, I think that's fair game. I don't really understand I don't care whether you hand it forward, backward.
I don't have an argument for that.
You got possession
that's hilarious.
of it.
So guys are out here Doing the 400 relay. They're passing that thing.
Listen, however you need to hand it off. If you have possession and you hand it to somebody, I don't think that's any different than like if you fumbled the ball and they picked it up. Like, I just hand it to them.
They're passing that thing like a baton.
I think it's a stupid rule. Yeah, I mean, you can't throw it forward. So if they replayed it and they found that it left your hand,
I just want to know where this even came up. You know what I mean? Like half of these rules are. I didn't see it.
A lot of these rules come up because there's a lot of people that have a lot of downtime in the offseason, and they see one play from the last 20 years, and they decide that they're going to make their mark on the NFL by writing a rule, and we're going to go over them like they're going to make huge impacts in the game, which they won't. All right, the next rule that's not going to make a difference is clarifying improper use of helmet by removing the term butt, ram, spear language from Article 8 and incorporating those terms into impermissible use of helmet rules. All of that is meaningless. It's all meaningless. All it is just trying to...
I don't even know how you comprehended what you just read.
What, you haven't read Article 8, Travis?
No, I don't even know.
You haven't read Article 8 of the rule book?
No.
How do you play football without reading Article 8? I mean, this is stupid. This is just removing certain terms that are violent, incorporating into non-violent terms. Let's just move on. All right.
I don't even
Owners approved any player to wear number 0, except, of course, offensive and defensive linemen. We always get the raw end of the deal.
What?
Also, punters and place kickers can now wear numbers 0 through 49 and 90 through 99, which I'm all for a punter wearing 0 because it's kind of like a target for that flying jump kick we just talked about. You just hit that big 0 right.
It's a bullseye. You can't keep attacking the specialist, man.
Oh,
can't keep doing
happening. It. All righty. Calvin Ridley has also become the first player in NFL history to wear the number 0. He tweeted it out. It's official.
Wow.
Yeah.
Agent 0, man.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think 0 is a cool number, but what's even cooler than 0 is 00. The big Jim Otto. I think that they need, if they're going to allow 0, they should allow 00 for offensive linemen. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh. All right. I see what you did there.
And I just think
Big
00 is a cooler
numbers.
number than 0.
I don't know, man. There's something about that 0, man.
I think 00 is cooler. Looks
00
like a big owl on
much.
your chest. Big owl. Just looking at you.
You sold me on that for whatever reason I'm in. Man, it's got a reason. All right, I'm in. What made you choose 62?
What made me choose 62?
Yeah.
Travis, I didn't choose 62. They just gave me 62.
Shut the fuck up.
That's serious.
You got drafted. They asked you what number you wanted.
No, they did not. They handed me a jersey that I wore for the first time in training camp. I did not choose anything. I haven't chosen my number at any level of football. And this dates back to Roxborough Middle School.
48.
48, baby. I was 48.
You've been rocking Buns numbers for years.
48 is not a Buns number.
All your numbers are trash.
48 is a very divisible number. What's wrong with 48?
Your best number was 13. You wore 13 in hockey. It was like Friday the 13th, man.
13 was my favorite number. I did choose that number in hockey. Outside of that, I never chose. I wore 48. I wore 60 in college, and I wore 62 in the pros, obviously. I guess. Yeah, I feel like the reason I never have picked a number is because I remember when they gave me the number 48 in middle school or high school. I don't know if I wore 48 in middle school, but in high school when they gave me 48.
I can see the Roxborough Rockets jersey in 48. I can see it.
Whenever they gave me that jersey, the coach said, the player makes the number, not the other way around. I was like, yeah. And really what was happening was all the kids are asking for the same numbers and there's only so many jerseys. And the coach just got tired of making some elaborate reason why some kid couldn't have a number. So he said, nobody's picking. And I've been like that ever since. And I feel pretty good because now there's a whole bunch of 62 jerseys in the stands.
This is true. 62s
not a lot of,
are everywhere in the link, baby.
Player makes a jersey, kids. Don't forget it. What was a Buns number is now one of the most beloved
legendary
numbers.
Buns numbers. Still a Buns number, though.
I mean, it's not that much more Buns than 87. Let's be honest.
What?
87? No.
87's fucking. That's a number right there.
That's a Buns. That's a
what? Nothing ever happened in 1962. All right, everything happened in 1987.
What about 1887?
So like, what happened? Did we sign the Declaration of Independence in 1887?
1776.
Damn.
July 4th.
That was 1700s, huh?
1700s.
That's crazy.
Come on, you don't know the nation's birthday, Travis?
No, July 4th. Really, July 3rd. Bet you didn't know that.
Well, took a couple of days to get all the signatures. Yeah, you're talking about me having Bun's numbers. What about your Bun's numbers?
I'm not gonna lie, but when I came back from missing the year, I was given number 48. So I actually wore number 48, telling you how trash of a number that is. I actually had to wear it.
I mean, that's a really bad number as an offensive player.
Especially as
that's a bad number. I feel like defensive like player.
Absolute swagless.
Not as bad. Tight end,
if you're a linebacker, 48 makes sense. If you're anybody on offense, 48 is it's a tough sell. It's a tough sell.
But then you went to 18.
Oh yeah, baby.
18's a Bun's number 2.
No. Red 18 always hits on the roulette table, baby.
No, 18 of all the teens, 18 is the worst.
No.
What's a worse teen than 18?
14. 16.
14's bad. 16's better. 16's better. I like 16 more.
No.
Because what do you think? Where do you think where do digits rank? What's the best digit? Highly sought digit?
I would say 7.
I would agree. I think it's 7, then 1, then 3.
I wore number 1 in high school.
I know. You were a number 1 guy. Number one guys are certain types of guys, if you know what I mean. No offense, Jalen. No offense, Jalen.
Hey, man. That one looks sweet in a Philly jersey. I know that.
Yeah. So go 7, then 1, then 3, then 5.
You're going 3, then 5? I guess
I like 3. I've always been a big fan of 3.
Yeah, all right. I'll give it to you. I feel like 6 is that's the one digit that's just like
4, 6, and 8 are definitely the worst. They're the bottom 3, 4, 6, and 8. I'd give it to you. I would say 6 is a pretty bad.
It's a tough sell.
It's a bad digit.
It's a tough sell. You get handed 6, you're like, 8, man.
8's not bad. The Ocho, it's pretty good.
Ocho. It just sounds better than.
Yeah. Well, if we spoke Spanish, I think 8 might be the coolest number. Ocho is freaking definitely the best Spanish number.
Now, right now.
Uno, dos, tres.
Oh no, Uno is a fun word. I love
Cinco's good too. Cinco's a good one too. Cinco and Ocho are the 2 best. Siete, the trash number in Spanish.
I don't even know which number that is.
It's the big 7.
18 is way better than any number you've ever rocked. So
it's not better than 13.
Yeah, you got me there. All right, back at it, baby. Moving on to the other item coming out of the owners' meeting that absolutely splashed and took over the internet was the annual coaches photo. That's right. They always set up and take a team photo, man. And there were a few guys missing this year. I'm not sure if everybody always goes to this, but there's about 3 or 4 coaches that didn't make it. This picture is hilarious. I can't tell you what I'm even looking at.
I mean, first of all, can we just agree that that team photos are terrible? It's the worst day of the year. The moment they say, "Hey, we're doing the team photo today," there is an audible groan. Everyone, you're going to put on your game pants, socks, and your jersey, and we're going to all take a photo. And it's never going to get seen. We're going to have to stand there into the sun, and they just do like, "Hey, close your eyes, count of 3, open them, and say cheese." And I'm always like, dude, I'm not smiling. I'm not doing anything you're saying. Take the picture. Let me get off of these freaking bleachers or steps, whatever we're on. And it seems like I can't imagine the NFL head coaches feel too much different about it.
Oh no, some of these coaches look like they're in it.
The first thing that stands out to me is just how many coaches I can't like pick out of a crowd. Is that bad,
you, man?
Like,
no,
I mean,
I feel terrible about it too.
If you ask me a team, I can name the head coach.
I can point at which team is which, but I when it comes to names, though, I'm the worst, man.
Oh, I'm the opposite. If you ask me the head coach of a team, I can name them. If you pointed to some of these guys, I would have no clue who some of them are. I'm not going to lie. I mean, dude, my man next to Mike Tomlin looks like he just got out of a coffin. When's the last time that he's seen the sun?
This is the first time he's seen sun all year.
And then Dayball looks like you took all the sun from him and just put it right on the top of his head.
Boy, Dayball you've been in Cabo.
Just some of the uptight poses.
My dog Andy Reid's trying to get skinny, man. They got to space these chairs
Him and Bill
out,
don't
man.
look like they want to touch each other. They very much are trying to keep the separation, the leg separation. Very, you can tell that they're putting a lot of conscious effort into keeping that separated.
Why do they all have the same exact swag? Like the exact same swag? Like they all...
Well, they're all coaches. The only person who looks different really in their swag is Sean McVay, who for some reason... He looks just like every bad coach and every evil coach in any Disney movie ever created. That's what Sean McVay looks like in this photo. Like he looks like Gordon Bombay when he turned bad. He got a little bit too big for his britches. Or
for coaching Team USA.
He was
getting all those endorsements, man.
Or the coach from Iceland.
Gordon Bombay. Oh,
one of those two.
I'm never going to be able to unsee that, man.
Who else we got? Dude, what is going on with Mike McCarthy over there?
I think it's just because he's at the end.
It looks like he's wearing Josh McDaniels sports coat.
He's got like a Jack Nicklaus sitting courtside at a Lakers game swag right now.
That sports coat that thing's hanging on for dear life.
He's stretching the seams.
The shoulder stitching is really hanging on. He looks like Tommy Boy or that guy in a little coat.
Matt Foley.
He's coaching in a van down by the river. Is Andy Reid, is that a Hawaiian shirt? I can't tell. Andy's always in a Hawaiian shirt.
Oh,
that doesn't look very
he's always
Hawaiian-esque.
got the floral print, man.
Yeah, big floral guy. Bill. God, Bill, he looks the most comfortable out of everyone sitting, I feel like.
Yep. There's only two guys wearing shorts, man. Sean Payton peacocking. He's got the chest out.
Dude, he just hit some chest earlier that morning. Some flies.
Hands,
some
knees,
bench press.
Hands on the knees, chest out. This is why we can't do shit live, Jason.
Dude, that might be the segment. We show players this picture and they have to name each coach in this picture.
Ooh.
What do you think is the over-under that players are going to be able to name half of them?
Half?
You go. Let's give it a Travis Kelce try right now.
I can
wait.
I'm the worst with names, but I can tell you team.
Okay. All right. Starting on the left.
Chargers. Standing up.
Yep.
Sitting down.
Standing up.
Standing up. Chargers. Giants.
Yep.
San Fran. Who the fuck is that guy? I don't know the next two. Steelers. Is that Steelers Tampa? Is that Tampa?
It's Tampa, yep.
Detroit.
No chance you're getting this one. 0% chance.
No clue. Jets. After Jets, nothing. I've never seen that man in my fucking life.
This is so good.
3 in a row. I have no idea who those dudes are. Everybody between the Jets.
That was our offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen for the Colts. Come on, Travis.
Who's next to Dougie P? Who the fuck?
You should know that one. You should definitely know that one.
I know D'Amico. Who's the other one?
You should know him because he's arguably your biggest rival.
Oh, that's Cincy. That's not.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
Do you know his name?
What's his name? Hold on. What's his name? That's Coach.
Oh my God,
Coach.
This is so good.
I told you I was terrible with names. I don't even know.
You're bad with names. Zach Taylor.
I'm the worst. Taylor. I knew it was a T.
Right.
Fuck. I'm sorry, Coach Taylor.
Are we doing the bottom? Do you want to keep doing this?
This is fun.
All right. Are you going back to the left? Or you starting on the right?
I'm starting right. Starting right and going back left.
Starting with Matt Foley.
Cowboy. Matt Foley. Again, never seen this fucking guy in my life.
It's my defensive coordinator. You don't know either of the two Eagles coaches that got head coaching jobs. Oh my God, this is so good. I love what's happening right now.
Miami. God damn it. There's no way, man. There's no way that guy coaches in the NFL, man. Then Pete Carroll, Harbaugh,
Yeah.
fucking obviously, the next fucking Rivera, QBs, Peacock,
QBs.
quarterback play. Broncos country, let's ride. Gordon Bombay. We got the Packers, and then just no clue. And then Bills.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how much better I could do.
All right, let's move on to some free agency moves going on throughout the league. I know the Chiefs have been making some moves, and we lost a good guy, man. We lost one of the good guys.
Who'd you guys lose?
Mecole Hardman. My brother went over to the New York Jets. Mecole the Jet Hardman is now playing for the Jets. He is who he plays for. One of the fastest guys in the league. My dog, Mecole, man. Man, it hurts to lose the good guys, man. I miss him already, man.
We tweeted that over the weekend. The Legion of Zoom is no more.
It is no more, man. I'm the only Zoom left. I'm the only one.
You weren't part of the Zoom, Trav.
Well, you win some, you lose some. I was a part of it because I was on the field with them, Jason.
That's fair. Well, you guys also re-signed D-tackle Phil Hoskins, D-tackle Derek Natty, and Byron Cowart.
Natty, love Natty,
big
man.
Boy.
Big
And you re-signed tight end Blake Bell, so you guys can
the dozer, Blake Bell, baby, the Bell dozer, bringing it back, man.
get the tight end sneaks ready to go.
Oh yeah, we got all the tight ends back in the room, man. I love it.
Have you talked to Mecole? Does he know anything about the Aaron Rodgers situation with the Jets?
I don't know, man. I have to see it. I didn't ask him about that. I'm gonna have to ask him.
That'd be a good thing.
Let's see. Did
maybe
you go to the Jets because Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets? Isn't he already there? He just hasn't.
Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows where Aaron Rodgers is?
I don't even know who coaches the Jets. I'm kidding. I know he is. Just don't know his name. Moving on to the Eagles. The Eagles signed Steelers safety Terrell Edmonds, the Edmonds brothers, another brother duo. Yeah, I think it's a trio actually. I think there's three Edmonds brothers.
You're right.
Shout out to the brothers in the league, the good brothers, as I like to call. It says he fell in love with the culture of the dog mentality when he came for his visit.
Out here in Philly.
Yeah, you already know. Fucking Rocky, man.
Say it. Don't you say it.
Adrian. Yeah, in quotes, I'm ready to come here and just give everything I got. You're joining the best team in the NFC. So, yeah, give it all you got, Terrell.
Like hearing that.
Re-signed Lane Johnson to a 1-year deal. I'm sorry, that said to a 1-year
extension.
Deal?
1 year extension.
I was like, holy shit, just getting that much money in 1 year, including $30 million guaranteed.
$30 million guaranteed, yep.
Worth every freaking penny. Every penny.
He's the best right tackle in the league, arguably the best tackle all around in the league. You know, he also said he wanted to retire an Eagle. Lane and I have played for over a decade together, so certainly happy that he's being compensated for the player that he is and excited to go out there and play another year with him.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It'll be good to have that guy back in the building.
Yeah, baby.
Biggest Eagles free agency news, though, is that everyone's trying to recruit Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke, trying to get him to come from the dark side. You guys are recruiting ex-Cowboys? That's crazy. That's tampering. You cannot tamper.
You're right, yeah. Well, we're tampering all over social media.
Yep. Lane Johnson tweeted the eyes emoji. Big play slay.
The eyes could mean anything. What is that?
It's like, that's about as clear cut as all right now.
You think so?
Yeah.
What if you send it to a girl?
All right now. Even Meek Mill tweeted at Zeke.
Meek!
Come to the Eagles, dog. Great team and organization. Good businessmen to help further your future. Look at Meek out here tampering.
He's getting in on the tampering.
Dog. I see you, dog.
I'm for all the really good players coming to the Eagles for sure. And Zeke's a really good player. I am not partaking in the recruiting, but I guess I will now. Zeke, come to the Eagles!
With excitement. Well, that's all we got for free agency, though. We have one more. We got one more.
Obviously, we got the Lamar Jackson incident that's going on. Tweeted Monday at the same time John Harbaugh was talking to the media. He tweeted, as of March 2nd, I requested a trade from the Ravens organization for which the Ravens have not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone that has met or been around me know I love the game of football, and my dream is to help a team win the Super Bowl. So this has reached DEFCON 5 over there in
This is arguably the most.
Yeah, it's not good.
I'm baffled. I don't understand. I'm so confused on how they haven't been able to get on the same terms.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know
You
without
got the MVP of the league.
Former MVP, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's a generational talent. So it's a little concerning that they can't figure something out. I don't know what each side is asking for. Obviously, there's things that get leaked out, but you never know what to trust in these situations. The team's going to leak out their side. The player and his agent are going to leak out their side. So, it's hard to really know exactly what's.
Does Lamar even have an agent? That's the thing.
I know. Yeah.
It's such an interesting.
He's got Ken Francis.
He's got the home workout.
Got Ken Francis, who is running a home workout fitness thing and side hustling is Lamar Jackson's multi-million-dollar agent broker.
There's no way that is.
You don't think there's a way? I think there's a pretty good way, but
there's no way this is real, man. I don't know.
Well,
this is such a bizarre scenario.
I don't think it's worth commenting on the things that we don't know. So let's talk about what we do know. We do know Lamar Jackson is an insane athlete who has been very dominant in the NFL. And with the right team is extremely dangerous. So what teams fit him? If he's not going to be in Baltimore, where do you think Lamar fits in the best?
Oh, man, I don't know. I want to go in my mind. I want him to go somewhere in the NFC, man. I just want to get him out of the AFC, dog.
Gosh. Yeah.
The last thing I need is for Lamar Jackson to go to like the Raiders or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go to like Green Bay. I like him in Green Bay.
Like him in Green Bay?
I like him in Green Bay.
It's not a bad fit. I really do think anybody that has run the Shanahan offense is probably going to be able to utilize Lamar's legs and athleticism, do a lot of boots, get him outside the pocket. They've shown that they're able to adapt and do some of these read plays and different things. So I think that would work.
I think that's a huge knock on Lamar right now is that he's not that pocket passer. He has made unbelievable strides in that regard.
Yeah, we know he can throw the ball.
I actually watch, like, I'll watch game film. I'm not just like watching the TV. I'm watching game film because I like watching Mark Andrews. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, he's pocket presence, poise. Like he's like over the years has definitely developed that. So the knock that they're giving him that he's not a pocket passer, it's like he's making strides in that regard. With that being said, I do think a Shanahan style offense is going to be more suited for him.
Yeah.
Anybody's going to adjust their playbook no matter who it is, no matter what kind of offensive coach you have. You're going to adjust your playbook to who you have as weapons, as players. So it's like
no doubt
the whole system QB thing. It's whatever.
Yeah,
he is the system. All right now.
All right now. He's
who
the system.
Who you thinking? Where you think he's going?
I don't know where he's going. I know that the teams that I think would be able to utilize him the best are teams with great defenses that will keep the game close, allow him to utilize the strengths that he has, which are his legs and his unbelievable arm strength. He's a dual threat quarterback. You don't want to make him one-dimensional, which can happen if you get really far behind in a game and you're forced into a drop-back passing game. So I know Washington has said that they're not interested. I think that would actually be a great fit. I hope you don't end up in Washington because I think they have a good defense and Lamar would fit in well.
You're my guy, Eric Bieniemy.
Falcons run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And whenever you have a running quarterback that's going to pair up well with a running game, Saints have a good defense. Yep. Titans I could see doing well, but they're kind of in a little bit of a rebuild mode, but Patriots could see that happening. I don't know.
Any coaches that are big on like time management, you know what I mean? Like I feel like Belichick, Vrabel, those guys are big on like, all right, I want my defense to be stout and like I want my offense to like take up a lot of time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like my job is to keep the other team's offense off the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think any team like that would be great for a guy like Lamar to step in, because now it's he's going to have a good defense. Anytime you get a quarterback like that, well, I'm just saying shit now, because any good team,
any quarterback is going to appreciate a good defense.
If you got a good defense, yeah, I'm not talking about shit. All right.
All righty, players as we got. This has turned into quite the segment. I think it's become one of the favorite ones on the social medias, the TikToks, the Instagrams, all of the above. People are appreciating this one, so we're going to keep doing it.
Are we going to keep calling it players as though? I feel like we got some some
recommendations. Yeah. What do we got?
We got Mike Davila, players comps. Player comps. It's a solid one. Mike is
not very creative, but it's good.
Yeah, it's barely better than what we got. 92% accurate comparisons. I like that from
that. I do.
Briss W3. Appreciate that. That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
That one's pretty good. It's exactly how we're describing all these.
Yeah, I mean,
all these.
They're probably about that accurate too. Yeah.
Bime it down. New heights.
Burn it down.
There it is. New heights hypotheticals.
Tricky one. New heights hypotheticals.
Yeah, I had to sound that one out.
That was a tough one for you.
Yeah, I struggle with a lot of letters. Marissa Taylor, know your role segment.
Know your role.
I guess that makes sense. It makes sense. And I'm all about knowing your role. Blues Central said, who's who? Which I like. Hey, that's got who's who.
I like who's who.
I feel like I've heard that before though.
Who's who?
No. We can't. That's just new news. You already know.
All right, fair enough.
Do we like it? I feel like who's who is the one that I would like out of these suggestions, but I would say keep them coming. Because why not?
Keep coming. Kind of like hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo.
I got guys whooping.
All right.
Remember that?
Is that a Butch Jones thing? Brian Kelly? Who?
Brian Kelly.
Every
time BK would come in the locker room, you got
whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop.
Popo's here.
Whoop. Yeah.
5-0.
The best thing that ever happened with Brian Kelly was when that kid from Notre Dame, or that kid from the recruiting kid was in the back. We're getting our ass kicked in the first half.
No. It was halftime. It was halftime.
We were getting our ass kicked
of Southeast Missouri State.
Yes. We were getting our ass kicked, but it was a close game, and we're supposed to be blowing them out.
Yeah.
And we go into the halftime locker room, and
BK is just ripping everybody. Defense, get your head out of your ass. Offense, you got to do something. Glances over at the corner.
And all of a sudden, he just
there's
sees
like 3
this
kids.
kid.
There's like 3 kids over there too, and they're all wearing
recruiting visits.
they're all wearing their jerseys. All of them are wearing their jerseys, and they're like getting like this 5-star treatment to like be able to see what it's like at a Cincinnati Bearcats halftime game.
We want him to come to Cincinnati so bad.
He's just motherfucking just in everybody's tail about, getting this shit going. And he just breaks it. He like loses his focus on the game and what he's talking about. And he sees this 5'8", 300-pound kid. Who in the fuck is 53? Get my hair. The kid's face went white.
That was an all-timer. Oh my God.
Just see John Whittakin just trying to like hurry and like just get him out of there, man. Oh my gosh. Who in the fuck is 53? I've never been able to look at the number 53 the same ever since that.
The only thing I think of. Well, we're going to get to the players as segment. The first 2 segments obviously were categories that I've been a little bit more familiar with than Travis. So Travis, you looked at all the suggestions we got and came up with what we're doing this week. What are we doing?
We're doing players as
baby.
Alcoholic beverages.
Alcoholic beverage. So not just beers.
No, not just
any
beers.
Alcoholic beverages. All right.
Any alcoholic beverage, baby. This is fun, man. This is a good one.
Am I naming them and you're gonna tell me what they are?
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
Kirk Cousins.
That is odd. That's the first guy. What is Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins is like a Riesling,
A white wine?
a white wine.
All righty. Let's go Cam Hayward. I can see
Cam
that.
Hayward, the
Big Cam.
Steelers, dude. Now this is about to be the manliest drink that you can think. Steelers, little what is it? Steel Reserve.
Steel Reserve, baby.
Yeah, the Steel
I like
Curtain,
that.
baby.
You know, he kind of has that. He kind of looks like a can of Steel Reserve.
He does.
It's just a very
I don't know why I think
stout
Cam
gentleman.
Hayward just looks like he could just drink anyone under the table. I don't know why.
we probably can.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe we should try that out.
Who we got? What's a guy like? What's Lane Johnson?
Lane Johnson. I think Lane does one of the best turkey calls I've ever heard in my life. Like, sounds just like a turkey. So I'm gonna go wild turkey from a man Lane. Fits him, personality and everything.
Gosh, that
Wild
is
turkey.
so fitting.
Yeah,
He definitely drinks wild turkey.
he does.
He looks like he drinks wild turkey and like
He's
what's
not a big drinker. I think wild turkey suits his personality.
for sure.
We got
Fireball.
Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, that's Hennessy all day.
Hennessy, baby,
Yeah,
all
I heard that
day.
he used to like take shots of Hennessy before games.
I think that's why it works. I
It's
have
just
heard
in
that
his-
exact same rumor.
It's in his veins.
Yep. Yeah, I think he might have actually said that himself. Let's
If
go
If Gronk was an alcoholic beverage,
Four Loco.
the original Four Loco, the one that was kind of not safe.
That's right. If you're big enough and crazy enough, it made you a superhero. About 4 hours.
Turned you into Hancock.
Four Loco stood for you were about to do some shit in 4 hours that you never even dreamt of.
What a roller coaster to jump on, man.
We got Zach Wilson. What do we got for Zach Wilson?
I don't know. Zach Wilson?
Yeah.
Gosh,
Strikes
Zach
me as a
Wilson.
Zima guy.
I was going to go like a high noon.
High noon. Why high noon? I like high
don't know,
noons.
man.
High noons are good.
I can't do anything vodka, man. I'm out.
You can't do vodka. It's like the easiest one.
No.
Why can't you do
crazy,
vodka?
man? I don't know. I feel like every time I drink vodka, I turn into a different person.
Vodka?
Yeah, it like makes me want to chain smoke cigarettes and just like throw bottles against the wall. I don't know. It turns me into a different
cigarettes?
human being. No, I don't.
But you
That's
just
what I'm
said on
saying.
vodka. You
I don't
smoke
drink
cigarettes.
vodka either. So I feel like those two go hand in hand. Cigs and vodka are like the same thing to me.
I've never heard of vodka turning people into. Well, I guess that's not true.
I was about to. Yeah.
I've heard of tequila making people crazy, whiskey making people angry. I think vodka is just
What's Josh Allen? What's my guy Josh Allen, man?
Josh. Well, you got to go. I mean,
He
you got to go with a pretty standard beer, but you got to go with a little bit more kick to it. So I'm going to go with a Natty Ice. Got a little bit of edge to him.
he does.
Plays up in Buffalo where it's very icy and cold. He's a natural Natty Ice.
I feel like Natty Ice is like the pregame to like somebody going through a table. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you got Natty Ice at the party, something's getting broke.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
100%.
Somebody's going through a door, a window's getting broken.
There's going to be a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
There's going to be a
TV.
fire. At some point, there's going to be some type of fire.
You are going to have to use the Natty Ice to put it out. Justin Herbert.
There's only one that's fitting, and it's screaming at me right now. Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Why Mike's Hard? What are you feeling the Mike's Hard?
Dude,
energy for?
don't say it like it's a bad drink either, because I will chug a Mike's Hard Lemonade right now.
Why did Mike's always get like the unmanly cachet, but then like White Claw is like acceptable? Like at some point,
it's a good
all
point.
of these
I don't know.
all of these fruity drinks were not acceptable, except for Mad Dog 2020. At some point, all of these fruity drinks all of a sudden just became like normal to drink, but they used to be like, oh, what are you drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade for? All right, we love doing these players' ass segments, but here's what we need next week. We need you to keep sending your suggestions in. Starting to run out of topics, and we'd love to keep this segment going. So please keep making this show successful and fun.
Throw the alley-oop.
Hey-o. All righty, let's get to the Howie Roseman interview. You guys are really going to enjoy this. Very rare does a general manager be as open and honest as Howie Roseman was in this interview. So please enjoy. Oh, yeah, by the way, this interview is brought to you by Accelerator Energy Drink, Rocket Pop in particular.
That's my favorite.
Our guest right now is the two-time Pro Football Writers of America Executive of the Year, the architect of the first Super Bowl in Eagles history, and the man I've called Santa Claus, which is weird, I feel like. Doesn't fit.
Is that a religious thing you're worried about?
No, you don't have a beard. You look nothing like Santa Claus, but you do.
I didn't know. I can celebrate Christmas. I like presents, you know.
Eagles draft day was a lot like Christmas, I feel like, last year. So anyways, our first guest, or our guest right now, is General Manager, Executive Vice President, Howie Roseman.
What's up, man?
How's it going? Thanks for coming on. I feel like I know this. Right? All right.
It was a very official handshake.
Welcome to the number one sports podcast in the world.
Wow.
I didn't know if you've heard.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know my feelings towards that because I have ulterior motives with you at all times. You know this.
Well, I will announce it right now if you tell us who we're picking in the first round.
Who's going to be there?
I don't know.
See, that's not fair. It's not apples to apples. So if we got to make a deal like you're going, promise me at the 10th pick you won't take quarterback. Deal.
Yeah.
Deal. We can make a deal on something.
Okay.
We're deal makers. You know? Did I only come on here because of this? No, I came on here because I love talking to you and I love talking about football and you have the same passion. And so for me, like, I was honored that you asked me to come on, and I'll talk to you about anything, anytime, my man.
All righty, perfect. Well, we before we get to this season and the draft and everything, let's talk about last season. Obviously, everything went really well. We're the only team in NFL history to go to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, and then be back within 5 years with a different head coach and a new starting quarterback. How does that process take place? Like, is there a point where you're in rebuild mode and then compete for a Super Bowl mode? Do you believe in like rebuild seasons and Super Bowl, like, or is this the goal?
I don't. I feel like at the end of the day, there's a difference between rebuilding and retooling. Gotcha. And I think one of the best things that is painful at the time, and you know this is painful, is that when you have terrible years like we had in 2012, you know, with everything that happened with Coach Reed and what we went through that year, or when we had the year during COVID with Coach Peterson and, you know, feel terrible about how that happened. But when you bottom out like that, it actually allows you to flip it quicker. Because if you just have a year where you win 6, 7, 8 games and you're picking in the middle of the draft, it's hard to really change your team. Okay. When you're picking, and we had the 4th pick in the 2013 draft, and we got Lane, changed our team.
Yes.
You know, then we come back in the second round, and we got Zach, changed our team, right? Yeah. Because you're not just picking at the top of the first round, you're picking at the top of every round.
Sure.
And so for us, that moment changed our team, right? The free agents we signed at that moment, and we were able to do it quicker. Now, not the same level we did it this year, 2012 to 17, that's probably 5 years.
I think it was.
Yeah, that is 5 years.
That is crazy.
And then the same thing happened when we had the terrible year in 2020. Well, we picked 6th. What did that allow us to do? That allows us to trade back to 13, get an extra first round pick, right? Kind of make some of these moves. And for me, I mean, especially in our market, like there is no rebuilding. Like as quickly as we can to be a championship team. Like that's the goal, as quickly. And it was almost a challenge to me. Like I felt like when I came back in 16 and really like the team was in a different place in 15, we had so many independent contractors on the 2015 team from afar, because I wasn't as tied in that year, you know?
Yeah.
Closet. Well,
I've mentioned that before, yeah.
And so like when I came back and you start looking at those guys, you're like, man, we got a lot of guys that aren't Eagles, you know, that don't really fit who we are and what we're looking for. Okay. And we're fortunate to turn it around in 2 years. And I remember after 20, you know, someone saying like, is this going to be 3 or 4 years? And I'm going, I don't have that time. You know, you don't have that time, right? We're trying to win as quickly as possible. And so I remember telling my staff, like, here's the challenge. Let's do it quicker than we did it 16 to 17.
Yeah.
And how can we do it? Well, we have a bunch of these assets that we can use to help us get a bunch of players. And so you got to get a little lucky, you know, to be able to be in a situation where you go 6 and 13.
Yeah.
and then still get Devontae Smith. You know, you got to be a little lucky that Landon should have been a first-round pick, and he goes to the second round. Injury history, and so you get a guy like that. And I think, you know, the opportunity, obviously, last year, the offseason, certain things kind of fell our way. You know, obviously the AJ is a huge part of it, but, you know, Bradbury being out there. Chauncey being out there. You know, Hassan, our vision of Hassan, you know, there probably should have been 20 teams on Hassan, you know, and also him being from there. So, you know, I think for us, you got to be a little bit lucky too in those moments. The word rebuild, it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Makes sense.
Like we're about competing, you know? And so how do you say that to your players? How do you tell players that
this year doesn't really matter? We're just trying to get better for next year.
3-year plan.
Yeah.
You can't build a culture like that, I feel like, because how do you turn it back on? How do you tell these great players, like, it's going to take us 2 to 3 years, and then say, now we're ready?
Now all of a sudden care extra hard about winning.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you just touched on independent contracts, so I feel like this is a good spot to bring this up, but has the model of building a team evolved? Like, I feel like when I first came into the league, everything was have to build through the draft. Like, you have to draft well if you want to build a championship team. Well, we've seen it not only with what we've done of building through both, but making good, smart acquisitions in free agency, getting value. You saw with the Rams last year. Like, has it kind of changed the model for building a championship team?
Yeah, and I think this, and I feel really strongly about this, I don't think what we did in 2017 was the same thing we did in 2022.
Okay.
And I don't think, like someone asked me yesterday, like, are you worried about teams copying your strategy? And for me, it's like, it reminds me of the Seahawks defense in the 2010, 11, 12, 13, right? They were running cover 3, and they had all these long press corners, and all their defense coordinators were getting head coaching jobs. And when you look at, like, Richard Sherman, take Richard Sherman, they drafted him in the 5th round, right? So they were drafting guys that people like me were looking at and going, this guy's 6'2", 210. He can't change direction. You know, he's not fluid enough to stay with receivers in man coverage. And those guys are running 4.5s. The Josh Norman types, the Richard Sherman types. And they're taking them in the 5th round. And those guys are playing well, especially in that scheme. Well, once they started getting coaches from that scheme, you know, I'm thinking about Gus and there's
that whole cover 3 Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, they had a bunch of head coaches. And now all of a sudden guys are taking those same players in the 1st and 2nd round, lost your competitive advantage. And so for me, it's like the minute that you got to figure out, and I'm not saying we do this, but you got to figure out, like, where
the league's going.
Almost like you got to get in front of it. You got to take a chance and say, all right, if I'm doing the same thing everyone's going to do, I'm probably losing any competitive advantage, right? Those guys are going, I mean, it's like undersized. I mean, really, I'm not saying this because I'm on the show, you changed how people looked at centers and interior offensive linemen. People started saying, like, I understand leverage better because of you. I understand space play because of you and what you can do for your offense. And so for those guys, I mean, you saw, like in last year's draft, like an undersized center went in the 1st round.
In the 1st round, we drafted Cam in the 2nd round. Like, both those guys go high, and that was before, when I was first coming, like, nobody drafted an undersized guy.
No, you wouldn't do it.
It's center in front of round like 4.
No doubt.
Well, I guess maybe Ryan Khalil might be one example, but
and so I think it changed that. And so at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Like, we did it when we were with Coach Reed. Those edge guys, like the Trent Coles, they were 250 pounds. Like, nobody wanted those guys. Everyone wanted 275-pound guys. And then teams started to win like that, and you had Doomerville, and you had really the Colts and Freeney. And teams were like, no, I could take these guys in the 1st round because they're explosive, they're dynamic, they play so low to the ground, it's actually hard to block those guys. And you lost kind of that advantage of knowing I could take these guys in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round because people are going to go, these guys are too small. And so what we got to figure out is, like, all right, like, you know, we're going to try to pay Jalen, no doubt about it. Like, want to pay Jalen. And so it's not going to be the same where we can just pluck free agents and grab those guys and pay them. And that doesn't mean we can't be really good. But we got to just change and get out ahead of it and go, all right, like, where can we actually really improve the team at positions that really matter to us without kind of being in this sense where we're freaking, where we got 20 teams on the same guys.
So you're trying to find these guys that you think will bring immense value to the Eagles team and what we're doing that other teams really aren't aware of, how that unique player maybe could benefit their team.
And we could be wrong, and I'll give you an example. You know, last year going through the draft, you know, my perspective was Jordan Davis 10 years ago would have been a top 3 pick.
I agree.
And so you're going through it and you're going, why is this guy falling, right? And everyone's going, well, he only played 40% of the time at Georgia, The guy won the Lombardi and the Outland Trophy. He was top 10 in the Heisman Trophy with the best defense in the country that won the national championship game. And so you're going, what are we missing? A freak show athlete.
Freak.
What do we miss? Good character? Yeah, he was freaking captain of Georgia. I mean, I was with someone yesterday who said, unbelievable leader. One of the games we lost this year, who was at the front of the locker room greeting everyone?
Yeah. He's got an unbelievable personality.
He's unbelievable personality. And so you're going, what is going on here? And it's like, well, he can't play on 3rd down.
Why? Yeah.
I mean,
he
that guy's
got 4.7 and he's 360.
Gets ahead of steam.
Yeah.
How are you stopping that guy, And so it's like, that to me was a situation where it's like, all right, why is he playing 40 or 50% of the plays? Well, really look at the games that Georgia was in last year. They were winning 42-7 in the 3rd quarter, most of those games. And then they're smart. They have all these 5-star recruits.
Well, that's the other area.
We got to keep these guys here.
We have all these unbelievable players. We need to utilize all of them so that everybody's happy and it's a good team environment.
So we don't lose him a year from now when Jordan leaves.
He's on another team, I guarantee he's playing on 3rd down and rushing the passer.
And in the close games, in the national championship games, he's playing 60% of the plays.
Right.
And so when I look at that, I'm going, man, like that's an opportunity, right?
Sure.
Like this guy, we love O lineman and D lineman, right? That's not hard to figure out, which is ironic, right? Like this 5'10", 175-pound guy's obsessed with freaking O lineman and D lineman, right? Obsessed, And I mean, who do I love, right? Dom's back here,
that's
like
right, Big Dom,
O lineman, right? Start Coach Reed, O lineman, And you think about the guys who left and got assistant GMs or GM jobs, like. What were they? O-linemen, right? Yeah. So I think for us, it's like we got to figure out where that is. Now, we don't have to overthink it. If there's a freaking great player at 10 that plays a position and you're just like, all right, we're picking 10. I don't think it's that confusing there. I think it's as you go through the draft, as you go through free agency, I think I said this yesterday, kind of try to zig a little bit when people are zagging, and just try to stay ahead of it because it's so hard to be like this bell curve, like the league set up based on cap and picks, that they really want everyone to be 9-8 and freaking 8-9 and just have that competition.
Or competitive, right.
And so I think if you want to really be great here, you almost have to take chances that maybe don't work out 2012, 2020, where it kind of falls and you go, oh shit, like that was really bad.
Yeah.
But at least if that happens and you're here, well, you get a chance to reset it a little bit because you're not going 6.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're taking chances because if they pay out, the reward is high, and if it doesn't pay out, it's like, well, at least we're going to get good assets to then continue to retool.
Who wants any other goal other than winning a championship, man? Really? And I think about this, and I got to say this, and I said this to you after the Super Bowl. Like when you came back last year, like you trusted.
Yeah.
You trusted. You weren't coming back to go 9-8 and lose in the first round again.
Yeah.
And at the time you made that commitment, you didn't know. No. You didn't know how it was going to look. And
it was looking good. It was trending right.
We talked about it. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, like that trust from our players, from our staff, from our coaches, from Jeffrey.
Yeah.
That to me, that's it to me. That's my responsibility. And so like when you say that, I don't think you think about it that way, which I understand because you're humble. But I go like, I got to make this guy feel like I'm doing for him what he's doing for me.
Yeah. Well, I do feel that. The last year, the entire way the offseason went, you could tell that we were building to try and do what we did, compete for a Super Bowl. Do you think that, because, man, the moves you've made in free agency, in getting rid of contracts at certain points when it was necessary, like, do you think other teams are afraid to take Howie Roseman calls right now? Do you think you're like what happened? I don't want to like what happened with Tennessee, right? Are other GMs now going to be like, I'm going to tread a little bit more carefully if I'm dealing with Howie because you've.
I hope not. I really do because at the end of the day, everything we're doing, I legitimately like. There is a fraternity with GMs, especially the guys who've been around a long time, which isn't a lot. But these guys, like, you don't want anyone to freaking lose their job. You want guys to make a lot of money. I mean, it's like this. I say all the time, like my best friend in the world since I'm 5 years old. He's a better athlete. He's a freaking phenomenal athlete. But when I do anything with him, whether I'm not playing basketball anymore, we played basketball or we're whatever sport it was, like I wanted to kick his ass, But when we stopped doing that, he's still my best friend. I still cared about him. Right. So like I want to find win-win situation. I really do. Like, I want someone to feel like, you know, at the end of the day, like it worked out for both sides. Yeah, and maybe it just worked. Now, at the end of the day, like I've done some bad trades. Like I can think of one right now as I'm talking about, terrible trade that I made. And in this, like they have to say yes, right? So I'm not like, I don't have anything over anyone. Right. Like I'm not like, I don't have some Jedi mind trick.
Sure.
That it's just like, you will do that. And so it's like, to me, it's like, it's a little unfair, you know?
Sure.
And yeah, I'm trying to do what's best for our team. Yeah, I care about the freaking Eagles and I care about us being good because I want to freaking win. But at the end of the day, every time I get off those calls, I feel like the other team, I'm actually feeling the opposite way. I'm going, what don't I know?
Yeah, I'm sure. Both parties are probably guarded a little bit. Like, you know, you want to make sure that you're doing what's best.
I think it's all cyclical. You know, I'll make some stupid ass move like I always do, and then they'll go, oh yeah, now we're going to take advantage of him again. You know,
I am curious about this. How does that process take place? Because I've never been to free agency, like, or been traded yet. How does the trade market, like the AJ Brown trade?
Hey Dom, how's that go? Jason goes, sign me, and then I trade him. And we don't put a no trade clause, and I trade him. Will I be able to walk back into the city of Philadelphia ever again? No.
So, and feel free not to answer this, but like the AJ Brown trade, how do you find out that this is a guy that's available? Like, is that released by their front office? Is that his agent kind of saying like, hey, it doesn't look like a deal's going to get done. There's a chance they're looking to shop. Like, I've always been curious, like when they say like X team is shopping X player, what does that mean?
I think the one thing that I'm not sure it's a good trait, but I do have one quality that I can't deny. And that is I am relentless, like freaking relentless. And that doesn't always, it depends how it comes off, you know, it depends where and when, you know.
Okay. Well, when it comes to competing for world championships, I think relentless is a good trait. Yeah.
So, you know, and so for me, I am so scared. I think like part of what you have, and I think I have, is there's an insecurity that you're not going to be great, right?
Yeah.
I think that's really like anyone in 15 when I met with like these business leaders and stuff, like they all have this like insecurity that it's going to pass them by and they're not going to be great. It's not like you feel like, all right, we won a Super Bowl. Oh, everything's great. Like I'm great. My legacy's set. It's the opposite, I feel like. And I'm so worried that someone's going to be available that I don't know about. And I see a trade or a move made and I didn't know about it.
And you could have had it.
I would have done it.
Yeah.
And so for me, that drives me. So what do you try to do? You just like the information part of this is like talking to these guys, these GMs, and just like, I'm open to anything, you know, like we're looking for these positions, but I'm open to anything. And honestly, like I know it's going to cost a lot, but don't be afraid to ask me because I may do it, you know? Yeah. And I think the more you can do that, the more opportunities come about. And I really do it because I'm petrified of waking up one morning and seeing AJ Brown traded to, you pick the team, I don't want to pick the team. And I would have done that trade.
Sure.
And then how do I explain that? You know, like how to explain that to our players? How do I explain that to Jeffrey? How to explain that to our coaching staff? And so I think that's part of it is making sure like I'm trying to speak to every single guy and saying like, don't throw out an idea. Throw in an idea. Tell me what you do. Like this is what we're looking for. And I think the only thing that helps with is you just kind of have options.
Okay.
You also get laughed at a lot.
What were you going to say? We're out of time?
We'll come back.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Howie. All right, if you think that wraps up the Howie interview, you're wrong. That's only part one. Howie loved doing it so much, he did it for 20 minutes, had to leave, and offered to come back and did another 40 minutes. Boom!
Jesus.
So, here's the second half, baby. All righty, we're back with Howie. He had to, obviously, busy guy at the Combine, but he was generous enough to come back, so thank you for that. And we're going to do Howie Roseman part two.
Sequels. Rocky 4 was good.
Which one's your favorite?
Rocky 3.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, Rocky.
I tell people this all the time. I think growing up, I liked Rocky 1 the most, and Rocky 4 is like a guilty pleasure. Just like it's ridiculous in the best way possible.
It is, but there's always that moment where, like, you know, at the end when he talks about, you know, if we can change, you can change, and then his son's like freaking crying there, and you're just like, man, you know, the father.
It ended the Cold War. You know,
I know. I know. I think it all the time. Anytime someone's like in like relationship issues, I'm like, freaking Rocky and Drago changed the world.
Yeah.
We can do this. Like it's a real thing.
Right.
Like, well, in Philly, Rocky is a real person.
It is. Yeah. There's a whole statue and everything. And I do think, there are people that don't think that statue should be up because he's like a fictional character. But he embodies the city so well. Like, what's wrong with it being a fiction? Just because he's fictional doesn't mean it's not like a great thing. Right?
Yeah, we're a little bit fictional characters in some sense. Like, I mean, you're Kelsey. You're not like Jason, this husband, this father. You're freaking Kelsey, right?
Yeah.
And like, I feel like I'm just freaking Howie, Like, I mean, like 10-year-old kids on the street, like, Howie, who are we going to draft? I was like, it's Mr. Roseman, dude. Mr. freaking Roseman to you. And I think that's one of the beauties of Philly is like, it's all of these like characters that are real life personalities.
Yeah. That segues into this next section really well. Philadelphia fans. So we've been here pretty much, well, as a GM, I've been here
1 year before.
Yeah, 2010. So I've been here for your entire genesis of youngest GM, I think, in the history of the NFL, to obviously Chip Kelly era, then coming out of that to winning a Super Bowl with Doug Peterson, to then being maligned and kind of...
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And but then to resurge again this year.
Yeah.
What is Howie's relationship with Philadelphia?
I feel like the fans are so passionate, so diehard. Like they can say whatever they want to us. But I feel like if I walk in Indianapolis right now and their fans start yelling at me and our fans saw that, they would have my back.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
But so they could say it to us, but nobody else can.
At the end of the day, you're still an Eagle. And
I think so.
Philadelphia fans will defend pretty much anybody against outsiders.
And I also understand that at some point, hopefully far, far in the future, I'll be gone and people will be compared to me, because we had success, because of the players that we have and the coaches that we have. And so I feel like that's one area. And I'd say I've had less than 5, now I'll probably have them now because I'm fucking like challenging people. I've had less than 5 bad interactions with our fans, even in the worst of times.
Yeah.
But I think from my perspective, that motivates me, that challenges me because I understand there's such a high standard and such a high expectation that I got to be on my game all the time. Like, I don't know how I'd be if I was in a market where it's like, yeah, so they won 5 games 2 years in a row.
I'm glad you brought this up because I feel the same way.
I think I would be miserable in that situation.
Well, and there's been multiple guys that have left the Eagles organization. And I've asked them, like, what's it? Because I've never been anywhere else. I mean, what's it like?
You're never going to be anywhere else. Just to get that.
So, what is it like to play for such and such? I'm not going to name these other organizations, but they're like, man, there is way less stress. There's way less sense of urgency. Like, it's just not as like so much win or lose mentality or like live or die, like these extremes that it felt like there was in Philadelphia. And I think the fans for sure play a role in that, as does the media. And that level of like attention and care that they have for the organization and how well the Eagles are playing has for sure, I think, impacted the sense of urgency that we have as members of the organization. I didn't think before I played in the NFL, I didn't realize, I think, how much fans impact in a city, the mentality and kind of the overall culture that the team has. And I think...
Don't you think that was a big part in 2020?
I do. I think it was a big part in 2020.
There was a lot of things in 2020, so I'm not saying all of a sudden we would have won the Super Bowl if we had fans, but...
Yeah. Well, I think it works in all of those. You get the extremes of it. And when it's not working out, you're going to be let know. And conversely, Nick and I talked about, like, I think when you're good, you don't want to listen to it.
Right.
Because they will pump you up and love on you just as hard as you can be hated and maligned in the city. But when they're loving up on you, that's also the extreme. Like reality is actually, okay, listen, I'm playing really well, but there's all these other reasons why that's happening. And if I don't stay focused on that, that'll change really, really quick. And that's kind of just being a Philadelphia athlete.
It's funny because we had one of our former players, I won't say who it was, and he went to another team in a smaller market, and I remember him telling me a story about like, first Friday night of the season, he goes out and gets all dressed up and, puts the sunglasses on and goes to like a club, in a hotel. And he's like, I was like, did anyone notice you? He goes, no one had any
Not a
idea who I
single
was.
person,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like, I don't know that there's
Could be nice at times. I mean, to just be able to go out and have a dinner. Yeah.
It could be nice at times.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And I think at the same time, it's like, I feel like that's what makes it special is I think it does raise all of our levels to some extent. I think, at the end of the day, like, you'd be talented wherever you are, you'd be a great player wherever you are. But I think it gets us going because of the attention and the energy that it takes, and knowing that when you win, it's even better.
Yeah. I agree, 100%.
I think for you and I, like, there is a point where we're competitive, and you hear stuff and you want to say, fuck you.
Yeah.
And
your initial reaction is always going to be pretty much that.
Right.
When somebody hits you, and the stuff that hurts the most for me at least is when it's true, when they're right. When somebody's saying something that doesn't make sense or is ridiculous, it's like, this guy, whatever. But when something is said and when deep down you're like, man, they're right. Like, I am struggling with this. Your initial reaction is to be like, man, F you, I'm done with that. But then the people that can come back down and be like, okay, well, is this actually right? Do I really need to improve in this area? Like we've said before, I think that's a big part of what's driven this organization and the team. And although you don't want to hear it at times, and it sucks, and I've been a part of that,
sucks.
As have you and anybody else who's played in the city. Like we said, it's a rite of passage of playing in Philadelphia. It brings apart growth, and ultimately it's good for you, I think. If you can use it constructively.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of guys that can't do that.
Yeah. And it's natural to play the comparison game and start going like, you're on me about this? What about the other people in this league who haven't done this sort of thing? And that's not healthy either. I think at the end of the day, I think you get to a point where you understand, like, I'm thinking about it myself anyway. I'm trying to do better anyway. Like, I know when I mess up a draft pick. Like, I know it. There's no doubt about it. I know when I make a bad move. And so, you get reminded about it, and it's just like, all right, I got to make up for this fivefold, you know, and then you want to do that. And I think that's, and at the end of the day, I don't know that I've purely processed what happened a couple weeks ago. Like, I don't know that I've had a real chance to kind of go.
A couple weeks ago.
We played in the Super Bowl. It was in Arizona. I guess you processed it pretty well, And
I'm still clearly in denial that that took place.
I know that's healthy. I think the denial would be healthy at this point for me. I think that part of it is because we went through it and saw how special that was.
Yeah.
And how it affected so many people. I think even more so, like, obviously I wanted it for me, you wanted it for yourself, but just to have people like on our team, like I think about guys on our team who haven't gone through it, some of the coaches, Jalen Hurts, and just how special it was. And you kind of like want them to feel that. And that's what drives me really, because knowing that celebration, how it affects people. And even, you know this, like people will come up to you and say, thank you, you know, to this day.
It's forever cemented when you do win it. So it would have obviously been unbelievable for that team and that group that we had last year, because it was a special year. It was a special team that was put together. It does suck for those guys and us being a part of it to not have that.
Right. Do you think it's easier that you have one?
I think selfishly it's easier, but I think, like you just said, that team didn't have one.
Right.
And when you're playing in a season, you really get wrapped up with those guys, those coaches, that group, and you want to have it so much for each other at the end of the day, because so much work has been put in, so much hard work and perseverance and dedication has been put in, that I think it really, it's just that even though I personally have one and I have that to cherish with that 17 season, we both do, not having that with this group of guys is unfortunate, because the team's going to be different next year.
Yeah. It's so funny when you're saying that and thinking about the group. I was thinking, literally 10 minutes ago, I get a call from Stout. And ready, this is how it goes. He goes, are you done with the fucking podcast and the fucking media, and you ready to find fucking players again, Howie? Or this is what you're going to be doing the rest of the offseason?
That's why Stout's great. Stout is like the Philadelphia fans. He brings everybody back down to right here.
I was like, Stout, I'm doing like one thing, I'm really, like, I'm explaining, like our fans.
We're connecting.
I'm literally like explaining to him, I'm like, I'm I'm doing it. It's fucking Kelsey. I won a ball. Second of all, do you want to rebound? Like I'm literally like trying to rationalize. I'm like, I've done 210 reports on college guys. You want to talk about the offensive lineman? Because you need to catch up on me. He's like, I'm fucking kidding. I'm busting you. I was like, me too. Just totally busting balls.
Speaking of doing reports, do you remember what my report was like? So we're at the combine. I haven't been back here since I was drafted. Yeah, I've not. Well, I mean, outside of playing in Indianapolis, but yeah, what was my scouting report? What made you guys draft me? How many draft boards was I taken off of the moment I weighed 280 pounds?
Well, I think it was that plus the combination of intense anger that you wanted to beat the shit out of everyone within 5 miles from you at the time was at least the reputation, right?
Yeah.
And, I think we can't tell this story without really telling the story of Howard Mudd, and great coach. And, for me personally, a great man and somebody who really helped me with evaluating offensive linemen. And really, when you think about it, like we transitioned, we had Juan Castillo and then Howard came in and it was totally different. With Juan, we were looking for size and length and power and Howard came in and he said, I don't want any of that, know? And so what we really had to do is we had to watch guys together. And for us, it changed from that to explosiveness, athleticism, instincts, vision on the field. Like, you have elite vision. I mean, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Like, for me, I never thought of offensive linemen like that. And, when we were going through this process, we had you in the 4th round,
Fourth round?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why did I go in the? Why didn't you guys draft me in the 4th round?
Well, honestly, I'm embarrassed that we had you in the 4th round because you're thinking the first ballot Hall of Famer and we had you in the 4th round. So we were wrong about that. Right. And we had it because at the time, like we talked about before, like nobody at that time really looked like you.
Right.
Nobody. And you were a converted linebacker, right? Mm-hmm. If I remember, you played your freshman year as a linebacker, right?
Yep. Defensive Scout Team Player of the Year. Yep. They used to call me Dick Buckus because I wore 60 and had forearm bands.
So I remember how and Howard had this way about very charming. I'm fucking telling you how this fucking guy, there was Sean.
Howie, I'm telling you.
Right. Yeah. So, but we liked you, and at the same time, we knew you were kind of off half the boards in the league. Yeah. And so I think we were totally excited to get you and draft you there. And then then we had a lockout, you know? And so we didn't get anyone. And so what I remember about that is we were, I can picture where I am at certain times. And I can picture, we were 2 weeks into practice and I'm on the side of the cafeteria, before the line where it kind of wraps around, and I'm walking out with food, and he grabs me, and he's like, he's starting, and I was like,
this is in training camp.
It's 2 weeks in. And 2 weeks in. And 2 weeks in, no off-season program, 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's starting. And I was like, yeah, great. I was like, what are you thinking? Week 3, because we have 2 road games. We were playing at St. Louis, at Atlanta.
St. Louis was the first one.
Was it Atlanta?
And then Atlanta was the second one.
Yeah. We're on the road in domes.
We ran a trap at that.
And he's like, we beat St. Louis, and it was actually a sign of things to come because it wasn't clean.
It wasn't a pretty win.
Yeah. And Atlanta, we should have won. DRC made this pick, and then Mike got hurt. He ran into Todd. He got knocked out. Kafka came in.
Yeah, we had some trap, I think, where we tried to run a trap play, and the handoff got fumbled because it wasn't synced up or something like that. But yeah.
And then we lost 5 in a row. San Fran, Ronnie Brown tried to throw the pass. We lost in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Jaquay jumped offside. We were trying to get the ball back. I probably could go through all those games.
Yeah, it's crazy how much.
Anyway, so I was like, playing in Dome would probably be hard to start a rookie center the first 2 games when we have an off-season program. And he's like, don't even start with me. He's starting week 1. And this guy, I remember it, man, so clearly. He's like, this guy is going to be the captain of your team and your best player. And I went, that's awesome. That's awesome. But does he have to start on the road in the Dome
right away?
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, he's free. And then it was just like he and you really right away were a good player. It didn't take you long. There was no transition, which really, when you think about the arc of great players in this league, you see you're not maybe at your ceiling, but you see the flashes, like you see right away. And it was just like, and I give Coach Reed a lot of credit for it too, because Coach Reed was like, we're freaking playing them.
The trust with Howard to be able to do that.
Total trust.
Because Jamal had played a lot of football. And like, it wasn't like it was me versus somebody who was unproven. Like Jamal had played a lot of football.
And if I remember correctly, we had given him an extension like a year or two before. And
maybe.
I remember. And for us, it was more not necessarily that we had the need. It was that you had, and really, it really started how we drafted offensive linemen, because really it went into the explosive athleticism, the short shuttle. You know, this having guys on offense who were elite athletes to match up with our skill position guys. And it really, when you see what's gone on in the league, Howard was ahead of it. You know, I'd like to say me and Coach Reed were, but really you got to give him credit, because the league wasn't really there.
They just wanted size.
They just wanted size.
How much has your...
I do remember in the draft room, guys were going, well, I'm just telling you, he may fight half the team.
I had a bad reputation coming out of Cincinnati.
And he likes to party. He really likes to party. You know,
all these were accurate. You guys do your research, because all of this is accurate.
and you know, anytime I like a guy, you know, and our scouts kind of like, I just, like at some point I just go, I'm taking him anyway. But I try to like build the case, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, does anyone want to go to the University of Florida when I was 21 years old and see what I was doing right there? You know, like at the end of the day, like what are we talking about? We're talking about college kids. Like I think we judge these guys, which is a separate conversation. We judge them like we're hypocrites about it. Like we look through it like
they're supposed to be like 30 years old with a family or whatever.
Why wouldn't you take advantage of your opportunities to have fun? And you're in freaking college and take advantage of the moments to be with your friends and be a little freaking crazy because it doesn't last.
Right.
Jason Kelsey and Howie Roseman on College Years.
That's right. Has your view of offensive, so you said Howard changed that.
Yeah.
How has that changed even from then? Like, what are you looking for in offensive
Well,
linemen?
it's interesting because then it kind of switched again when I came back in 2016. And what I felt like
Brandon
was...
Brooks.
Right. And Stout and I went into after it a little bit, because what I said was, okay, everything, it's just like when you're building a wide receiver corps or skill position guys. Like, why was AJ perfect? We had Devontae, we had Dallas, you know, Quez had a role. Like, we needed that power forward on the outside. We had it on the inside with Dallas, but we needed that body type, that kind of player who can win one-on-ones, who can win on a slant, who can kind of the Alshon role, right?
Sure.
I learned a lot from that Alshon. I learned a lot from that team with the bigger bodied back running backs, right? And so what I felt was, okay, if you're going to have these elite athletes on the outside and at center, you better be firm in the middle around that.
Sure.
So that you can allow Jason to be able to get on the move and these guys one-on-one to play firm.
I look now at the way I play and I'm like, man, if I did that when I was younger, I would have been so much better. Like if I got away with so much stuff early in my career because even though I was undersized, I was a pretty strong guy for being undersized. And like I look back, I'm like, I got like both hands outside on like a run play. I'm high. I'm not like my stance. I can't gain ground with my first step. Like all these little things that I didn't need to do to succeed. That then as I got older, especially in 16, became apparent. I was blocking Danny Shelton, and I'm out here and like I'm 60 pounds lighter than this guy, and I'm trying to block him with hands outside.
Right.
There's no chance I'm going to be able to do that. And credit to Stout, especially by being like, no, you can't do this. Just stop doing this.
Right.
Go into here and you'll have power. And I mean, any center, I firmly believe this, is going to look good next to Brandon Brooks. Like that's how good Brandon was. Stefan Wisniewski was not only a physical guy, but he was smart. We had a really, really good room that following year that allowed me to play at my best, our tackles to play at their best. So
and allowed Isaac to grow.
Yeah.
And it gave him the opportunity to get a little bit stronger because we we force fed him that first year. And we basically said, he's a third round pick, he's got to go play.
Yeah.
You know, and that wasn't really fair to him. It gave him an opportunity to do that. And I think that's one of the things that I have in Philly that not every GM has is like we're watching college offensive linemen now with Stout. And I know if they have the right mentality, if they have the right traits in their body, and they have technique issues, they're going to be fine.
Right.
And you know that they're going to be developed, you know. And so like I'm thinking about when you're saying that, before I left, I'm like walking out with my backpack and I'm like, Styles, see you there. Come here for some 20 plays. I'm like, no, I got to go. He's like, 20 plays. And he's like, you see this? You see how he's grabbing right there? I'm going to change it right there, And I'm like, I know you will. I mean, we've been together for long enough. I know you will. And I think for me, what's changed is like, I want to have, and we went through this draft process last year and with Cam, like we went through it together to me, you can do that, but it's got to be like a starting five on your basketball team. Like everyone has to complement each other.
Yes.
And that's why like Landon was so big for us getting him because he's rare. He got
plays
rare
center
football
or guard. He's a better athlete than people realize.
No doubt.
He's very, very big and strong. But you see him operate in space. You're like, man, that guy what does he weigh? 350?
Yeah,
something like that, 340 maybe.
Yeah,
and but for his size, you don't see guys that move like that very often. And those are those guys that are super rare.
The other thing about him, and I'd be interested in your take, is like because of probably stuff like podcasts, but like because of social media, players aren't the same as they were 10 years ago.
Okay.
And Landon has unique football character.
Yeah.
Like Landon loves football. Yep. He loves football. He loves practicing football. He loves being in the building all the time. And I think the more guys you have like that are learning from guys like you and Lane and understand that gives them an opportunity to be great as opposed to being like pretty good players, because of how much they care. And when you go through it and you kind of go and go, well, we go through all these questionnaires and guys, what do you love to do? Video games. Like it's unbelievable how many, and I get it, I liked video games, Tecmo Bowl was great.
Sure. Yeah. Tecmo Bowl, love it.
Bo Jackson was cheating in that. But I think like that's another part of it. He fits, right? And we have a team culture and then we have an O-line culture.
Right.
And the O-line culture drives the team.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We do have a really, really good room. We've had a good room. We got great people and a great coach. You talked a little bit about guys and what they did when they were younger, and like guys wanted to be or play video games. There was interesting articles that have come out about you recently that I didn't know were true. Is it true that when you were 9 or 10 years old, you knew you wanted to be a GM?
I did. I wanted to be an NFL quarterback.
Because not too many, are there not that many 9, 10-year-olds that want to be a GM?
I was a psychopath. But to be fair, I did want to play. And,
Sure.
I used to go and all my friends around me played and I wrestled at 119 pounds. So
that's awesome.
That's
light.
That was a senior, senior in high school. And I'd go and my friends would come home from football and I'd be like, I'm throwing, and I still thought, you see me in practice sometimes, I still think I have the freaking, I still think I could play. Like maybe I'll go back and use one of my years of eligibility. But I kind of figured out quickly like that probably wasn't going to happen, and I loved it. And it wasn't because of anyone I knew or anyone around me. It was almost like I felt like I was like put on this earth to do this. And I was so determined to go in that direction. I didn't have any other paths.
Yeah.
And so I started writing letters like when I was 14 years old to every team in the league. And I do it like 3 times a year. And then, as I got to like my junior year in high school, I do it like 4 times a year. And all I just get just rejection, like fucking from the floor to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And I didn't have, and I think that's part of it was like, I didn't care, like, all right, freaking college, I'll take out the loans. I didn't have a backup plan. And it was harder because there was no way to connect with people. So I really had to like almost be like a stalker, and to try to find people. And so I feel like I was lucky that I had this direction. Like I knew what I wanted to do. And so like I would go, I'd watch, on Saturdays, I'd watch college football. And this is like, I'm 10, 11 years old. I'd have notebooks and I'd watch college football, or I'd be in class and I'd like be building a roster, or like I'd see a play and I didn't really want to coach, but I'd see a play and I'd write it down, and I'd have like notebooks. Like I have them in my house. Like I have notebooks and notebooks like of stuff like that. And it's, I think about it and it's like, man, I'm a psychopath. But I did feel it. I felt it deep inside. Like this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anyone. I remember people would be like, he freaking knows Andy Reid and Joe Banner and Jeffrey. I didn't know any of those guys.
Yeah.
Like even a little bit.
You were just sending him letters every single day until eventually Joe jumped at it?
Eventually what happened was Mike Tannenbaum was the pro director of the Jets. He called me, and I was in New York. I was going to Fordham Law School, and I had this like little caller ID. It was before that, and it's like New York Jets Football Club. And I'd been rejected for so long at that time. It was like my second year in law school. I had no idea what I was going to do. Yeah. And I picked up. I'm like, hello? And they're like, hey, it's the Jets. Do you have time for Mike Tannenbaum, pro director? And I'm like, I literally was like, all right, who the fuck is this? All right, this is not funny. And they're like, yeah, Mr. Roseman, do you have time for Mike Tannenbaum? And he basically just said, I'm looking for an intern, and I'm going through my resumes at that time. They weren't all on computers, freaking 1999. And he said, every single resume, I literally have a rejection, like a thank you for me rejecting you. Mr. Tannenbaum, thank you for taking the time to reject me. Keep me in mind. Mr. Tannenbaum, thank you for taking, and so he's like, I don't know if I can help you, but I'll do a phone interview with you. And then he brought me in. And I interviewed with Parcells. So then Mike basically called Joe, because I guess they had a running joke about it. And he said, hey, I interviewed the freaking crazy guy. And if you have a job, bring him in. And he brought me in, and he's like, $200 a week for 7 months. And I was like, oh my God. Deal. And then the best part was at the end of the year, like I had no job, and he didn't make any promises. So it was like 2000 season. And I go in, and I'm like, moron I am. And he goes, I go, hey, where do I stand? Am I a full-time job here or something? I'm 25 years old. And he's like, well, I'm still thinking about it. And then, it was like the beginning of it. And it was, Andy had just started, and we had moved to NovaCare, and we were building a stadium. Time in life's everything. And I just think I got in at the right time and with the right people. And, we do this night here, Tom Heckert, our GM before me, and great guy who's so influential on my career. And, he passed away a couple years ago, and we used to come here, and he's after every night of interview, come on, we're going out. No, Tom, I don't want to go out. And he'd pick the whistle stop. That's am I giving advertising to a place? Yeah. Delete the place. We went to a bar, and it's smoky, and it's terrible, and we'd have to go there. And so we have a night here at the Combine every year where we all go, all of us who work for him, and it was awesome, because Andy's staff had like 10 head coaches, and then our personnel staff ended up having like 7 GMs. And it was like, I don't know what it's like to work anywhere else, but it was all these people who were freaking super competitive with each other too. Like it was like, like who's moving up first? Who's getting this? And we all continue to be friends to this day. But it was like, everyone was like, because we had a lot of success with Coach Reed early on.
Oh, absolutely. Welcome to the NFL moment.
My welcome to the NFL moment?
Do you have one? We ask all the players.
Yeah.
What's your welcome to the NFL moment as a player?
Yeah, like where you got your ass kicked for the first time? Yeah. So I got one, actually.
All right.
So, I came in, and my first real full season was 2000, and we made the playoffs, and then we went to the championship game in 2001. Went to the championship game in 2002. In 2001, we lost to St. Louis. St. Louis was the greatest show on turf. Like, we played really well. Troy Vincent got hurt during the week. Buck got hurt at the end of the first half. He was doing really well. We lost the game, probably to a better team. Next year, it was the last game at the Vet. We played Tampa. We come out, and Donovan got hurt, missed a bunch of games that year. We come out, and Brian Mitchell returns the opening kick like 50 yards. Next play, Deuce takes it like 50 to the house. The whole stadium's shaking. Like I can feel it in the press box. And then we end up losing 14-7. Joe Jervis just takes like a 77-yard slant to the house, and Rondé Barber picks one off for 6, and we lose. And the next year, we play Carolina at home in the championship game. Donovan gets hurt. He punctures a rib like in the first quarter. Coy Detmer comes in. We lose to Carolina. So the next year, we signed T.O., we signed Javon Curse. We go to the Super Bowl. We lose in the Super Bowl. And then the next year, coming back, after losing, there was an issue with T.O. You probably heard about it.
I've heard.
Heard rumors. And it was awful that year. We ended up 5-11, and just bad year. Donovan got hurt, T.O. suspended. And so Andy basically says, hey, listen, everyone's tired. Everyone's freaking exhausted. Like, let's take 2 weeks, and, we'll reconvene. We'll have plenty of time to talk about the team. The offseason was a little longer than it is now. At the time, I was traveling a little bit on the road, and I had I was like, all right, I'm going to go to South Florida and go to Miami for a couple of days and get some sun on my face, and I get upgraded. So I'm like, man, maybe things are turning a little bit. And so, I get on the plane, and the pilot comes on. He's like, we're just waiting for one passenger, and then we'll be on our way to Miami. And I realized that the seat in front of me is open, so the passenger we're probably waiting for is the person that's going to sit in front of me. And as they're about to close the doors, T.O. walks on the plane.
Oh, my God.
And and so T.O. walks over. He looks at me, and I'm kind of was in the middle of that, dealing with that, which is a whole different story for a different day. Great story. And he kind of looks at me, nods his head. He takes his seat and he jacks it into my lap for the 2.5 hours. And he gets off the seat. I was like, have a good trip in Miami. And he was like, fuck you, you know? And I was like, okay, so it's not all going to be championship games and Super Bowls. Right. And I think that was my first moment where I realized, you know, like what we had done was unusual and it was hard to get to. And great player, but it was definitely welcome to the NFL. It's not going to be so easy. And then, you know, I got welcomed again because I think for all of us, Andy was like, he was like family, you know, and we were all so close to him and we took those relationships for granted. And then when Chip came in, like I didn't really think about how long those had taken to develop and how I took that for granted and obviously didn't have that relationship with him. And so, you know, for me, after we go 10-6 and 10-6, and I always thought, hey, you know, not that that's the standard, but not terrible, you know? And I basically lost my job from that. And so it was like, you know, there's probably more to it than just that. And I think being vulnerable in the NFL is a good thing. I think like the fact that like I feel like the relationships that we have, you know, like I think that's one of the best things about this job, you know, obviously winning, but it's like, yeah, like people say to me like, yeah, you probably keep two guys a little too long. And it's like, if that's the worst thing that I'm doing, I'll be all right with that. It's definitely not the worst thing I'm doing.
I got to ask this because you brought it up.
Yeah.
You asked me earlier, you know, did losing this last Super Bowl, was that any less because we won the previous Super Bowl? Do you think you would appreciate your first Super Bowl as much as you do without going through what you went through in 2013?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I
guess it would have been 2014.
I also think that winning the Super Bowl made me better.
Yeah,
and I think because it made me realize that just having good seasons wasn't really what I was trying to do. And I think sometimes you get in this business and you go, all right, you know, we went 12-4 and we won a playoff game. Good year. You know, good year. All right, I can live with it. And then you see that and you see like the standard that sets and you see the feeling that is. And even when we won the championship game this year, like being on the podium and holding a trophy and doing it with people you care about, like I feel like the only 2 times I've ever gotten emotional about football was the minute we won the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And this year coming in on Tuesday.
It's not as happy as when we won the Super Bowl, but
no, but sometimes I feel like I feel lucky that we even have that feeling, that we even have that emotion.
I agree 100%. And yeah, I think the highs don't mean anything without the lows, and it's a weird dichotomy, but like that's one of the reasons I asked about, like, you know, what did the Super Bowl mean more after having struggled or having been pretty much lost your job? Because I feel like it meant more to me having coming off of 2016 and the year I had then to not only have a good year myself, but for our entire team to rebound like that. That's just kind of the weird way it works. You know, you end up appreciating the
I almost feel like the football gods too, they like cause you pain, immense pain before you can have something great.
You can't have the luxuries of greatness without having that. Yeah.
Like it's almost like did I really think the football gods were going to give us 2 in 5 years? Like, was I that fucking naive to think that? And I think about Coach Reed. It took him 25 years to get the second one.
How about that?
And everything that he went through to do that. And it's like, but I'll tell you what, I went back on that field and now I know you did it too.
And slipped?
No, I did not fall. Did you hear I fall?
No, I'm talking about the field conditions. That was a joke. Just a joke.
But, you know, like, I don't like it because I wish we would have won more than anything, but I kind of like the pain a little bit.
Yeah. You learn to I don't know, you learn to...
What's the name for the word that people like pain? Dom's one of those people.
Masochist?
He's a masochist. He's like, I want to be punched in the face. he's like, I want to be punched in the face. I'm going to punch someone in the face. I was like, either way, I don't know that I'm the best guy for that. You know, that was like, we had a moment this year where, you know, someone on our team was getting in a fight and I tried to get in there and like I realized like
let's get you away from this. Let somebody else break this up.
Maybe I'm not as tough as I think I am. I'm gonna run from here.
Oh my gosh, I can't thank you enough for coming on. It's been an unbelievable pleasure to be in Philadelphia my entire career with you and go through that journey. So thanks for coming on the pod.
Don't make it emotional.
All right.
We got
keep
a long
the
way
tears
to go.
back.
We got a long way to go.
Fair
And
enough.
I think that the amazing thing about you, and I think we've talked about this, you can pick any industry you want and you would have been successful because of who you are. And, when I think about our players and think about guys like that, like that's unbelievable because those are people to me that like transcend freaking football. It's just people who have unbelievable qualities as like humans, right?
Yeah.
That they can be successful and they just freaking picked football. We got a lot of those guys, and you lead the way with that, my man.
We do. Hey, thank you so much, Howie.
Appreciate you.
We got to do like a more like authentic handshake.
I know that is terrible. We got to get like the bro hug right there.
Welcome to the New Heights post-interview brought to you by Accelerator Active Energy Drink. So Jason, why did you even agree to have this interview?
This is the great thing about interviews. You talk to win the interview. Hello? You talk to win the interview. You don't just talk to talk. I don't care if you've been to 2 Super Bowls with the guy. You talk to win the interview. You start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out, because it does matter. Now, this whole conversation bothers me. So I'm going to talk about Accelerator energy drinks. This one right here is Island Guava. Natural caffeine, plant-based thermogenics, sugar-free. It's fucking delicious. You talk to win the interview. You drink to get energized. That's why I drink Accelerator.
You can find Accelerator at Target, Albertsons, Safeway, Quick Trip, and Hy-Vee.
That does it, Trev. What'd you think?
That was. I mean, I definitely didn't expect Howie to open up like that, man.
Yeah, talked about the fans.
He came back for that. That's.
Dude, not only did he come back, he came back for twice as long. He came back excited. Yeah, now I was surprised at. Yeah, I don't know. I
feel like I appreciate when everybody like is all in on team, city, and like he feels that sense of urgency from the Philadelphia fan base to
for sure
make shit shake. You know what I mean? And that's how you know he's invested, man.
I think that Philadelphia is a unique place to play. The fans are going to let you know how you're doing or what they think you're doing. And Howie and I have witnessed that firsthand. And I do think it's impacted the way that all of us approach business. And it affects the sense of urgency in the building. And, I think that Howie did a great job of emphasizing that in this interview. He talked about my scouting report, had me in the 4th round, which a little upset they had me in the 4th round, then they picked me in the 6th round. But, I get it. Really don't. But
sounds good. The fact that he thought that you might fight the whole team was so on point.
What did you think of that?
It was so on point. Oh my
Why
gosh,
do you think
yes.
that's on point?
What do you mean?
I don't fight.
Anybody that's been on a team with you has felt the competitiveness and the fact that you always take it right there to like wanting to fight somebody.
Yeah, am I a bad teammate? I want your
I
honest
wouldn't say that. I've never
honest opinion.
Bad teammate? No.
Bad teammate.
No. Loose cannon? 100%. 1000%. But for the most part, it's usually it's warranted. You know what I mean? It has some meaning behind it.
I don't know that it's always warranted, but there is
not always, but there's always just that little bit of. I mean, he's kind of got a point, and I think that's fair. I think it's fair game, and I think it's fair game because there's times that I do that, and it's I don't know who do you think we got that from? You think we got that from mom or dad?
Come on now, we got that from dad. What did you talk about? I think we
Thanks,
honestly, we wear our heart on our sleeves, man. We don't hide things, and at times that comes out in unproductive emotions. But I think it's good. I think it's good to let things out, even though sometimes people hate you and think you're an asshole. I think it's better to do that than to harbor things inside and to not talk to your teammates.
I'm with that.
Yeah,
I'm with that.
Not perfect by any means, but I don't know. It's worked for us so far.
The TO story was off the chain.
It was. All righty. That wraps it up. That's it for this episode of New Heights. Thank you to Howie Roseman for coming on and giving us a great interview. And also make sure you're subscribed on YouTube so you can watch new videos as they go. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to check out our merch at homage.com/New Heights. And don't forget, Wednesday, April 26th in Kansas City, we are doing our first ever live show.
Live.
Man, we are going to be risking it all.
I'm
All righty,
terrified.
here we go. Keep following the show to find out more about that show. And thanks for tuning in.
All right. Now, once again, New Heights is presented by Wave Sports and Entertainment and brought to you by our friends at Fireball.
Hey.
Follow the show on all social media platforms at New Heights Show with one S for fun clips throughout the week. And thanks to our production for making us look good. We're really going to need you for this one.
Man, please.
Love you guys. And appreciate the 92%ers for always tuning in. Until the next time, baby. Peace.